I don't think the president is really willing to bring in new blood. And by new blood, I very specifically mean a new White House chief of staff, a new national security advisor, likely a new secretary of state. We're hopefully going to have a new secretary of defense. So I don't see the president willing to do that, and I see much more muddling along. Now, we may get some surprises, like the Cuban overture was indeed a surprise. So there may be some things going on in the periphery, but I don't see any potential for the kind of change that I think were needed. Now, there's one exception. This could actually be where Congress, now that there is a majority of Republicans in both houses of Congress, that Congress impresses upon the president the need to put together this foreign policy, and there's sort of a coherent push to the president to make some kind of change. That may not happen either, but if you ask me to bet, I would say I bet things are going to just pretty much go along the way they have been for the past several years, for the last 2 years.
You know, I think that a foreign policy often flows from the very top. George Bush's foreign policy, George W. Bush's foreign policy flowed from his temperament. He looked at the world in Manichaean terms of the good and the bad, and he was inclined to use the military instrument. And he gave a bad name to democracy promotion policy by pursuing it at the end of a bayonet in Iraq. With President Obama, the problem lies with his temperament. He is a very smart and very articulate president, but he is perhaps overly deliberative. Sometimes you just have to make a decision. And in terms of Syria, that's an example. And I think, in fact, he invited more Russian adventurism in Ukraine with dithering on Syria, including basically turning to Russia to be the arbiter to deal with chemical weapons there.